Does a narcissist know that he's hurting you? Does she know that what she's doing is wrong? We say that this is a disorder, but we also say that they are accountable for their actions. What's really going on? Do they understand or do they not? There's no simple yes or no answer to this question, and I'm going to explain exactly why in a way that I think will help you understand if this topic confuses you. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, I am not a professional, and everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. If you are in crisis, please seek professional help. I am providing contact information below. Do narcissists know what they're doing is wrong? Do narcissists know that they're hurting you? These are two different questions. First, does the narcissist know what he or she is doing is wrong? Yes, sort of. The narcissist knows that if anyone saw them do the thing they're doing, that the person watching them would consider it wrong. However, the narcissist doesn't believe that what he or she is doing is wrong. They believe that what they're doing is justified. Does a narcissist know that he or she is hurting you? Unfortunately, not to sugarcoat it, yes, that's the whole idea. The narcissist thinks that you deserve to be hurt. The narcissist thinks that you have hurt him or her. Narcissists think that they're defending themselves. If you were to ask them if they know that they're hurting you, they would think, what a stupid question. Of course I know. As with a lot of narcissistic behaviors, it can be easier to understand this when we liken it to little children. Imagine that you're a 5-year-old kid in a classroom, and imagine that you have a classmate next to you who accidentally knocks all your stuff on the floor. And let's say this is the 5th or 6th time that this kid has done this. Now, in reality, this kid did not mean to knock your things on the floor. It was a total accident. It could have happened to anyone. And you left your things sticking out the edge of the top of the desk. So actually, it was quite difficult for this kid not to knock all your things on the floor. However, in your mind, as a little immature 5-year-old, you're convinced that your classmate is knocking your things on the floor over and over again on purpose just to bother you. This is the mindset of a narcissist. This is a very good analogy of how they view just about everyone in their lives. They see threat where there is none. They take personal offense when none was meant. They believe that they know what your intentions are because they use their feelings to determine what your intentions are. Now imagine that you decide you've had enough of this kid knocking your things on the floor. You are really angry. You feel disrespected. You feel like you've been pushed around, and you're gonna get this kid. But what can you do? You know that there are rules in this classroom that if you break the rules, you're going to get in trouble. You think, I think I'll kick this kid in the shins, but I gotta do it where nobody can see me. I can't let my teachers see me do it, and I can't let my classmates see me do it either. Okay, now let's come back to the narcissist. Do you see the parallel here? This little kid feels like he's been harmed by his classmate. He feels justified. He feels like his classmate's got it coming to him, and his classmate deserves a kick in the shins, okay? But at the same time, this child also understands that no one else is going to understand, quote unquote, why he's doing this, okay? So he feels justified, but he knows that other people aren't going to understand and that he's going to get in trouble if anyone sees him behaving this way. And this is why when narcissists lash out at you and treat you badly and abuse you, they make sure that no one else can see them doing it. It's not really because they know they're wrong, it's because they know that other people will think it's wrong. They really think that they're doing something that they have a right to do. Narcissists feel pathologically entitled to do whatever they want. They don't think the rules apply to them. The rules apply to everyone else. In their highly emotionally charged state that never ever calms down, they think that they have suffered such great injustices in this world that they have a right to do whatever they want, to right these horrible wrongs that they've endured for so long. Let's go back to the analogy of the little kid in the classroom. Let's say that you, this little 5-year-old narcissist, you get this classmate alone and you get a chance to kick him in the shins, and you kick him really hard. Now your classmate doesn't realize that you're even upset with him. So he looks up at you totally surprised. Why did you do that? And what's your response? Oh, please, you've knocked my things on the ground over and over again, and now you're playing innocent. The same thing goes through the mind of a narcissist when you try to tell him or her that they're hurting you. And when you try to ask, why are you doing this to me? They think, oh, playing innocent, huh? They feel like you meant to hurt them. They feel like they are the one that has been abused, or they're the one that will be abused if they don't defend themselves. They determine their reality through the way that they feel. And if they feel like you deserve to be punished for something, that is an absolute fact in their head, and there's nothing that you can ever do to change that. So I've heard this explanation a lot when people go back and forth about whether or not a narcissist knows what they're doing is wrong or not. That, well, they don't do it in front of people, so they must know it's wrong. And I'm not making excuses for narcissists. Just like we wouldn't make excuses for that 5-year-old kid, would we? But it's just not as simple as saying that they know what they're doing is wrong. They kind of do, but they really think that they have a right to act that way because they're immature. They're emotionally immature, just like that little 5-year-old kid. If that little 5-year-old kid had mature emotional skills, even if that kid believed that the classmate was knocking his things on the ground over and over again, the kid would react in a different way. Maybe he would tell his teacher, or maybe he would even try to talk to his classmate, or just something a little more constructive than getting the classmate alone and kicking him in the shins. So I'm not making excuses for the narcissist. The narcissist is accountable for his or her actions. They are responsible for choosing to abuse people. On the other hand, they do really believe that they have a right to do that. They don't think that what they're doing is wrong. They just think that other people will think that it's wrong. I know that narcissists' behavior makes people really, really angry for very, very good reason. And it feels better to just say that they're just evil and that they just are trying to do these wrong, awful things consciously. And I think that when we say that this is a disorder and that they have serious emotional issues that prevent them from making mature choices, that like we're letting them off the hook somehow, that's not the case, because it doesn't matter what kind of problems you have. It doesn't matter what sort of disorder or mental illness you may be struggling with. You're responsible for your actions if you are aware of what you're doing. At the same time, I personally feel like it's very important to really understand what's going on. Instead of just understanding through a fog of well-earned anger, I think it's really important to step back and really have a fair understanding of the truth of what's going on in the narcissist's head, because I think it helps all of us deal with the situation better when we understand the reality of the situation. I still think that 5-year-old that kicked his classmate in the shins needs to be punished, of course, needs to be held responsible. That 5-year-old needs to be taught that you cannot behave that way, no matter how justified you think you are. Just like a narcissist needs to be held accountable and needs to be shown that no matter how strongly they feel that they have a right to treat people the way they do, that they just don't, and that they just cannot get away with treating people like that, no matter what is going on in their head. The only time I think that you could really justify bad behavior because of a mental illness or disordered thinking would be if someone is seriously psychotic, if someone is hallucinating things that are not happening. And that is not the case for a narcissist. The narcissist's problems are unregulated emotions and extremely immature emotional skills. The narcissist has no problem with their hearing or their sight or their memory or any of their senses. I mean, unless they actually are blind or deaf. They are not psychotic. They are delusional. There's a big, big difference, and they are responsible for the way they treat people. And just as a side note, the only way that you can really hold a narcissist accountable is to cut them out of your life and stop associating with them. Because when you allow them to stay in your life, you're saying, hey, I might have complained a lot, but you're still here in my life, so it's okay. You can keep doing whatever you're doing. If you think you're going to hold a narcissist accountable by saying anything to them, by explaining how awful their behavior is, or by complaining, or crying, or whatever, they actually like it when you do that, because it shows that their behavior has some sort of power over you and that it, quote, worked, that their punishment that they've meted out on you did affect you, did bother you, and they feel like you deserved it. So they're not going to respond to that. The only way you can hold them accountable is to create a situation in which they can no longer hurt you and they can no longer treat you this way. You have to cut off the opportunities that you've given them in the past to treat you badly. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a like, a comment, or subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow so I can make more videos like this for you. Until next time, thanks. Bye.